I've been a fan of the Yakuza series for years. I haven't gotten to play all of them, but the 4 that I did play never disappointed me. I've heard a lot of positivity for the new installation in the Yakuza series, Yakuza Like a Dragon, but was skeptical when I found out it was the first step away from Kiryu Kazuma as the main character. Now don't get me wrong, I have no issue with changing main characters in a series. Plenty of games change the protagonist along the way and continue to have success. I mainly mean that as a series, Yakuza is Kiryu, at least to me. From karaoke singing to nihilistic depression, Kiryu and his cadre of companions built the huge following and culture around the main series. But Like a Dragon seems to have hit the mark as much as any other Yakuza game. From the jump, it does something that a lot of other Yakuza games do well. The story shows you a gruesome and checkered past of characters that still, from time to time, maintain a level and refreshing lightheartedness to keep the player's spirits up. I'm gonna go over a couple of spoilers for the intro, so if you want to skip that, go to the timestamp noted here. We start with Masumi Arakawa as a young teen acting in kabuki theater, seemingly beloved by the audience, but all the cheer soon dissipates as we cut to Masumi removing his makeup in the back rooms, revealing that his story is yet another tragedy played out on his own stage. His abusive mother forcibly takes his earnings from him and threatens to attack him with a pair of scissors, stating that she's done it before, which we see when he further removes his makeup from his cheeks, revealing a large scar. Luckily, his father doesn't seem to follow suit in his mother's abuse, but in a bit of the story that we are shown, the respite his father gives him is short-lived, and he's soon assassinated at dinner while Masumi is in the restroom. I'm not going to show that scene because honestly it's pretty graphic, but we're going to go ahead and cut to New Year's Eve in the year 2000, where we slowly move into our new main character, Ichiban Kasuga. After playing for a bit, Ichi tells how he ended up in the Arakawa family, explains his life debt, and then we go on to see how he ends up repaying that debt. Unfortunately, Ichiban ends up going to prison for a crime he didn't commit in order to protect a captain of his family, Joe Sawashiro. A captain, I might point out, that hates his guts for little to no reason, honestly. So from 2001 to 2019, our hero is stuck in prison waiting for the day to rejoin his family of Yakuza, and all of that happens in just one chapter. And it seems that the story continues to heat up every chapter after. At the time of recording, I'm about 4 chapters in out of a total of 15, so I've got some time to find out if it flops or if it just continues to be great. But from what I've seen so far, it's packed with pretty interesting characters, mechanics, and story that I just can't wait to get into. There are only about 2 things that have been tiresome for me so far. They don't necessarily ruin the game, but for me, they make it hard for me to keep from skipping parts of the game. The first, and so far the worst, is that while the story is great, exciting, fun, enticing, all that good stuff, there's just so much they tried to pack into these first 4 chapters. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate that they're trying to flesh out every little detail to make you understand the story, but sometimes it feels like Mac trying to write Lethal Weapon 6.
Yeah, buddy, you did it! You did exactly what you said you were gonna do, and now he's dead. And now we have to kill that shaman woman so that she doesn't come back and reanimate him again.
Wait, I got a better idea first.
What is it?
Let me just show you, man. We don't have to say everything, man. Shit.
There's just so much exposition that it can take up large blocks of time. I think the amount of time I've spent watching cutscenes has passed the amount of actual gameplay. And that can be tough in a series where the sub-stories are a huge part of the fun. If I have to wade through hours and hours of cutscenes for half as much gameplay, I'm going to end up shying away from some of the stuff that could add real value to the experience. You would think people would learn from Metal Gear Solid 4. Sometimes you don't have a lot of time to play a game, and you don't want to spend it watching a movie. Sometimes you just need to save and log out for the night, but with feature-length cutscenes, you just can't. Which brings me to my next major issue, manual saving. Getting the chance to save in the early chapters wasn't frequent, or at least I didn't notice that it was available at the time. At one point, you get the ability to save anywhere, and there's even an autosave function. And I have no idea when free saving popped in. I know that it was grayed out for quite a while, and then boom, I was able to save in the middle of the street, and I had an autosave file primed and ready to go. But before that, it was kind of a nightmare, and I was worried about missing crucial information in the story because I had to step away, and I didn't want to leave it running for hours while I was away. But those 2 things aside, so far the game has been so much fun. While the length of time cutscenes are queued up can drag, the fact that there's so much story to tell is great to see. All of the characters so far seem so alive with their own individual personalities, and that makes it hard to not want more backstory, more banter, just more of them. Plus, when I do end up getting to the gameplay, it's an oddly unique experience, namely the fighting. Ichi points out at some point that he's in love with the Dragon Quest series and sees every fight as a battle in the classic RPG, which is clear once you get to the fights. You've got your standard 4 options: basic attack, guard, skills, and your items. Every character's weapons and skills are reflective of their personalities and histories, but the mechanics are a little bit different than the classic. The way the fighting works makes you think more than just what's the most powerful move with one-hit capabilities. All the characters are constantly moving in the round, so you need to think about character placement, specific moves, and target choice, and I don't mean water beats fire beats earth. If you pick something like a basic attack, and there's an enemy between you and your target, they may block your attack and waste your turn, so it's best to pick a charging move that'll take out multiple targets in your path or an area area attack that can just knock everyone close to your target out. And while there are strong one-hitters, some of them cover an area, and if you pick someone who's far away from the pack, you've pretty much wasted your MP, and some of your strongest characters don't have a lot to spare. But if you make it through the fight and you're running low, you can always pop into a local restaurant for a quick pick-me-up and get right back to beating down bad guys or go looking for a side quest. A major part of the charm of the Yakuza games for me is those side quests. A lot of the times, they can provide a necessary relief from the darkness of the main story in these games. The first sub-story I ran into in free roam was a man trying to flex the amount of certificates he had got, which were pretty much just to impress a girl that had no interest, which ended up actually being a soft intro to boosting Ichi's personality traits that benefit his skills and world interaction. All in all, Yakuza Like a Dragon feels like a great addition to the series, and I can't wait to get through the rest of the main game, and all of the branches of the side quests. The game will still run you about $60 on Steam, and it's definitely worth it. But with the game being about 2 years old in November, it pops up on sale a lot, so if you don't have the money to get it, you won't have to wait long for the price to drop again. So if you get the chance, definitely pick it up. But that's going to cover it for today, guys. If you enjoyed any part of this video, please drop a like down below and feel free to subscribe while you're there. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.